Here's a Gretch Jim Dandy. It's a parlor size guitar, so it's a smaller body. Perfect for sitting on a couch, sitting in a recliner. It's not overly big. Sounds decent. Action came just a hair high, not enough for me to change anything. But what I'm going to do today is, the frets are a little scratchy, so I'm going to polish the frets. It came with the lower action quite nice. The top action's a little high, but I'm actually pretty comfortable with it. So yeah, once I polish the frets, it should play a lot smoother, and I really don't need to set anything else up. Alright, let's get to it. I'm going to be using the same strings, so what I'm going to do to make my life easier is take a piece of masking tape and tape the strings together. That way when I take them off the headstock, hopefully this won't be a pain in the butt later, but we'll soon find out. This way I don't have to take the strings completely off. Here's my string winder. A little bit quicker than doing them by hand. Most people would get new strings, but the strings that came with it are Diodarios, and they're a pretty good string. At least I don't feel the need to change them yet. That's why I'm being careful with the ends, so I could reuse them. There we go. I'll just flip these over the edge. Just to get them out of my way. And now I'll make a fretboard guard with just some masking tape. I'll just put a couple layers on each side. And I'll be able to reuse this a bunch of times. A lot of guys will just tape off the whole fretboard and do it, and I don't do it that way only because I guess I'm lazier. But this works for me, and that's good. I have some 0 grade steel wool here, and they feel fairly smooth. Even with my fingernail, I'm trying to feel them, and this one's a little rougher. But essentially, I just need to shine them up and make them slick. So you just go back and forth, and you should be able to see a shine difference. I don't know if the camera will show it, but I could see the difference. And work my way down the fretboard. And I also want to check the fret ends. This came amazingly smooth. This model guitar has, half the people that get them are really happy with the fit and finish, and the other half are calling it a cheap guitar. I'm happy to say that this one is amazing for the $170 price range. I don't really have to do any nut or saddle setup, and I will just keep bringing this down as I need it, and this will keep me from scratching the fretboard, which wouldn't be the end of the world. Yeah, that's a lot slicker. That's a little rougher. Like ice skating. Good. You can use any grade steel wool you have. Super light sandpaper, 800 grit, 1000 grit would, and work your way up. Smoother and smoother also does the job. But the steel wool gives it a shine that sandpaper won't necessarily do. I like to kind of scratch it with my fingernail before and after, because you can actually feel the difference. Fret ends, like I said, I'm quite pleased with them. I don't have to break out any of my files. Feeling nice. As I work my way down the fretboard, I'm creating steel wool dust. So what I'm going to do is make myself a little shield, just so I don't get stuck in the sound hole. And I'm just going to, actually I could bring this up to here, just tape it off and just keep stuff from getting in the sound hole. And it's just masking tape. I'm not going to press it hard. It just needs to keep stuff from getting in there. If it was an electric guitar, you want to tape off the pickups, because the steel wool will stick to the pickups. That should take care of that, and we'll continue working our way up. fretboard gets wider as you come down here, so I just opened up my little tape guide a little bit, and I will continue to do so as I go down. Get that on the end. Starting to lose its stickiness, which is okay since it's just a protector. I very rarely play up on this end, doesn't have a cutaway, and I'm definitely more of a strumming guitarist than a lead guy. So I feel I don't need to be as picky up here, but I'll go the full distance. Yeah, this one had I felt a catch. So we will polish that in good. Camera's picking it up. You can see all the dust of steel wool leaves. That's why you'll see a lot of guys not use steel wool. They'll buy fret erasers, or which looks just like an eraser, but it's got grit to it. And I'm not going to get super picky over here since I can't get your hand in here to bend and play on this model. But I'll shine them. There we go. Cheap and easy fret guard instead of buying a metal one. Now I'll break out my homemade fret rocker and see how that looks. This is my homemade fret rocker. The concept is you find they're cut at different lengths, and you want to span 3 frets and rock it. And if it doesn't rock, the fret is level. Like that's got a little rock, but I don't even play up here, so I'm not even worried. And you just work your way up, like it doesn't span right there. I don't know if that's picking up, but that's rocking a lot, this fret. I'm pretty much going to concentrate on these up here because these are kind of unplayable. Like that doesn't span the distance there. And let me go ahead and get my other one. And here we go. I'm making sure not to use the end I cut. I'm making sure to use the factory ends. So up here, okay, that's not spanning. there you go, this one's got a rock. So I'll just get a little piece of tape and mark it off. That one's really high. Not so much down here. Let me see if this one spans it better. Nope. Because, yeah, I think that this wasn't spanning enough. Do that one. Even this one is so minuscule and it's getting up on the fretboard. The action gets higher as it goes up. All right, that's all right. That one's a definite. Even though I just peeled the tape off of one of these, it's just too high. Those are the 3 frets I need to bring down. As usual, I got a little ahead of myself and checking how level the neck is. It's actually bowed back. Under string tension under string tension, it'll actually bow it up this way. So what I need to do is release the truss rod, get this as level as I possibly can with the straight edge, and then recheck. This came with a dual action truss rod, which means it'll actually bend it back bowed or with a curve, and what I need to do is just loosen this and then recheck. So let's say I want about 1/4 of a turn. I'll just get that out of my way. Let's go with this end. There we go. That's a lot. I'm getting my head under here to see. And I will do about another turn. When the strings are on, I'll check the relief and then adjust accordingly. Let's try that. Ooh, don't want that to fall in there. That's pretty level. No more hump. And now when I check the fret rocker, see if it gives me the same readings it did before. I should say when I check my data card. I'm not even going to bother with that one. Let's see if this one spans it. Yeah, it does. Come on, that's good. just a slight and it's more right about there, and that's so tiny I'm probably just going to leave it. That's the worst culprit right there. Not on the ends, just there. The fret does look like it's down, pressed in all the way. I might try tapping it first. And this one right there. First I'm going to try tapping the fret in and retrying. Alright, I got me a rubber mallet, and pretty much I'm going to hit it right on the tape spots. And I probably should be using a brass one because I don't think the rubber mallet is going to have enough strength to actually get it in. If that's the issue, you can, I don't know if you can see it where it mushed tape in, which is fine. I'll just take this on the side to get it out of my way. Nope, still there. This one's so tiny, I'm not even going to bother. It's an acoustic guitar, so it has a little higher action than an electric, so I'm really down to one fret. So it's looking like the right at the B string. Alright, let me get my fret files. Okay, I got my fret crowning file, but what I'm going to do is find the widest one, which is this one. I'm just going to use this to go over the top. And I don't want to pay attention to hair or hair. I really want the filing to be, around the B string. And what I'll do is I'll just take a handful of strokes and retrack and keep going until I get it where we need it. And just that little bit actually did quite a bit. The frets are actually crowned to a radius, so instead of curving, I'm kind of going flat in that section. Okay. And that's all it takes. So now I want to find the actual right size for that fret. That's the smallest. So let me just get it. So I'm just going to lightly That's 4 frets. Let's go 3. There we go. Let's check out where that is. So it starts at D. I won't go up any higher than this one, even if there is, not sure that there is any high frets from that end up. Let's flip this to there and just give it a still a little rock. Oh, none there, none there. Just a little right here. Doesn't really take that much. I mean, if it's a super high fret, of course it will. But this has been pretty good. I should buy a real fret rocker with precision ends, but shit, I could barely play a guitar. One more good check over. Just make sure it spans only 3 or it won't work. That's minuscule. Okay. All right, good enough for me. So I will, of course I took the tape off so I don't know exactly what frets need to be polished. I can probably feel it. Just give it a quick once over. Especially when they're new, they don't need, well, I can't say all guitars, but a lot of guitars just need a quick polish like this versus you know, breaking out files. But I've definitely had guitars where you try to bend the string and feels like you're trying to bend the string up on sandpaper. So it exists, and there you might actually have to file them smooth first and then polish them. Just using my fingernail as an idea of smoothness, or a gauge for smoothness. I will string it back up. Then we will check the bow and the truss rod setting. I'm going to try to unbend these carefully, or get them semi-open so I can at least get them started. Oh. Pay attention. There we go. Make sure they wind in the right direction. There we go. Use my finger to just make sure that string stays in. And I'm going to try to get that little nub in between. There we go. And get it up in the nut. And I will continue that process until we are all the way in. Make sure you get the right string in the right spot. There we go. I'm just going to press it in with my finger and make sure I have a good... Last thing I want is my string to pop out when I'm playing it. I'm just making sure that I get it the way it was, or the way it should be. There we go, and I'll just continue the process. Now we'll see if this is going to be a pain in the butt. Hopefully, I could just slide it out. Now I need to tune it up to pitch, and then we'll check the truss rod. Okay, the tools you'll need, but don't necessarily need, tools that are nice to have for setup is a capo, which I put on the first fret. Just helps to hold things down. And then a feeler gauge. If you don't have one of these, truth of the matter is you can really just eyeball this or use some sort of thin card or a thin pick. Somewhere around the body joint you're going to press down, and you want to feel just a slight lifting up and down here. The spec is anywhere between 8 and 12 thousandths. depending on your radius. So if you are somebody who's a shredder, you're going to want a fairly straight board. But if you're somebody who's a hard strummer, you might actually want more neck relief. That way you don't get buzzing in your strings. So 12 is hitting, 12 thousandths, 11. So I'm looking probably around 10 thousandths. So I think I might have to release the neck a little bit more. 25, I think that one's the 9 thousandths. So I'm just pressing somewhere down at the body joint at the end. Some people do it, some people do it up here. Yeah, see the 9 is just sliding without hitting the string. That's within spec. It's 8 to 12. I'm gonna get the truss right. Since I'm more of a strummer, I'm thinking I want to loosen it just a hair. Break out that. I think I want to shoot for 10. Here's an 11. There she is. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so that's not lifting the fret. I'll try it on the 5. A little lift on the 5. I feel good with that. Let's get her up to make sure she's tuned and see what happens. Got my little snark tuner. Just making sure it's in tune, or at least close enough to tune. And then I will check to make sure that it's not rubbing on any of the frets or buzzing. Just pulled on the string a little. I don't think that showed on the camera. I'll go up to the body joint because I never play past it. And I already know the nut action on this side is a little high. I'm going to leave it that way though. It's got good tone. I'm happy with it. I'll also check it in playing position versus, yeah, they're sliding really nice on the frets now that I polished them. Before it felt like sandpaper. Yeah, these are all good. Nice and slick. Even on the thick ones. Good.